Dating apps are everywhere. Texting is ubiquitous. Hookup culture is rampant. If courtship isn't dead, it's surely on a respirator. And while I did a Love You episode a while back called Why Men Should Court Women, which most women very much enjoyed, there is a dark truth about courtship that most guys won't tell you. Today, I'm going to tell you. Stick around. My name is Marc, Katz, dating coach for smart, strong, successful women and your personal trainer for love. Welcome to the Love You podcast. Keep listening to learn why men don't court women like they used to. When we're done, I'll let you know how you could apply to Love You and create a passionate relationship that makes you feel safe, heard, and understood. So, as a dating and relationship coach for women, I spent a disproportionate amount of my time listening to complaints about men. And the truth is, many of them, most of them, are well-founded complaints that if I were to wave a magic wand over the world and we can make men change the way you want men to change, I would agree it would be a better world if men did all the things that you don't like. So, let's start with that piece of validation. So there's a whole list of behaviors that you want men to engage in to demonstrate to you that they are relationship-oriented and they take you seriously and that they are kind and generous and thoughtful and chivalrous and interesting and interested. And right, we can have a whole unit on this. Right? The second month of Love You, third month of Love You is all about courtship. That space between when you meet a guy and he becomes your boyfriend. And in Love You, we recognize there's what guys naturally bring to the table, and then there's what women bring to the table that encourages a man to raise his game, to put more effort, time in, to flirt with him, to bring out the best in him, to operate from a place of joy and confidence and abundance. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that is within your control. You can encourage better behavior. You can create an environment for a man to thrive. And so courtship is this old school thing that exists before women had education, before women had jobs, before there was any semblance of equality. And it's a vestige, right, that even post second wave feminism, women getting 1/3 more college degrees, etc., we still hold on to this vestige of the past that no matter what the circumstance, it's right that the guy call and plan and pay. Right? No matter whether she has asked him out or whether he makes more or she makes more money, we like our courtship. Right? And I'm not saying it's good or bad or otherwise. I'm just going to point out that it's somewhat anachronistic, but as a determinant of whether a guy is interested in you, we believe in it. Right? Certainly, I believe in that in Love You, that whether a guy thinks it's right or fair or otherwise, if you want to do well with women, it's in your best interest to call and plan and pay. There's not much of a downside. And we want to screen out guys who push back too hard on that as a measure of effort. Now, there's a reason I'm taking the long route here. We may nudge men into courtship behavior, but men have figured out something crucial. And I hate to say it like this because I don't think it necessarily sounds good or makes me look good. Men have discovered that this behavior doesn't make a whit of a difference. Think about that for a second. And it is challenging because this is behavior I encourage. Women are the CEOs, men are the interns. They got to put on a bit of a show. I really do believe in that, and I like that. But guys, not all guys aren't all stupid. And so one of the things that they figured out is you could have a guy who shows up and gives you flowers and calls every day and texts you and is not overly aggressive or sexual and makes plans in advance, And this guy could follow everything from the How to Please Women handbook. And if you're not attracted to him, is all the courtship in the world going to make a difference? Nope. You're not attracted to a guy. He can't do anything to convince you. His kindness, his consistency, his character, his communication won't make any difference in the long run. It's interesting, right? We encourage good behavior, but good behavior is not in and of itself going to get a guy over the finish line if there's not a requisite amount of attraction there. Let's flip that entire thing around. If you're wildly attracted to a guy, you don't insist on him engaging in courtship behavior. Your rule book tends to go out the window. And again, I didn't write this. This is what women have told me, is when hot guy texts at 11 o'clock and says, "Are you up?" The answer is yes. Right? If he disappears for a week and then comes around, you drop whatever you're doing because he comes around. Like, that's the thing. We don't insist on great treatment when there's deep attraction. We throw that rule book out the window. Oh my God, I never do this with any other guy. That's what those guys are used to hearing. Right? So all the behavior that you want to insist on men to demonstrate that those men are serious about you doesn't make a difference for the guy you're not attracted to. And for the guy you are attracted to, it also doesn't make a difference. That guy could get away with murder. And you'd be like, he only murdered 2 people. He's still really cute and smart and funny. That is the unfortunate truth about how powerful attraction is. And so what many guys have done is figured this out. This thing that maybe is dawning upon you is recently dawning upon me. And they're less inclined to go through the courtship dance. For obvious reasons. It doesn't make a difference. They know your decision already has been made. It hinges not on his performance and whether he reaches for the check and whether he opens the car door and follows up respectfully the next day. Right? Your decision about whether you see him is based on his confidence, your attraction to him, not on his courtship behavior. And guys have concluded, semi-collectively, that they're tired of being the chump who calls and plans and pays and puts in a lot of effort and doesn't get any reward for his effort. He just gets sort of friend-zoned or slow-faded or ghosted because there's always someone new and exciting who you're going to throw out your rule book for. And those men get rewarded, right? Not for doing the right thing. In a way, they almost get rewarded for doing the wrong thing. Think about how excited you are about the guy who leaves you off balance, the guy who calls, texts once a week. Right? He's the one where you're waiting on eggshells. The guy who checks in on you every day, you're like, oh God, leave me alone. This is so boring. So all this is to say, I'm an observer, right? This is not a defense of men. This is me explaining why you might see some of the behavior that you see. This may coincide with your observations about men's simple hesitancy to do very basic things like call you on the phone or plan a proper date in advance at a restaurant. So what do you do with this? 3 things. Number 1, understand that you can't let bad behavior slide because a guy is hot. Right? That may not be your first takeaway, but that's my first takeaway that I want for you. Right? I'm not going to tell you you should reward some guy just because he does the right thing. That's not the answer. But you got to stop giving a free pass to guys who don't court you, who don't treat you right, who treat you as a last option, who don't escalate their efforts to make plans to see you, escalate things, get to know you seriously, go slowly around the bases instead of insisting on casually hooking up and keeping their profiles alive. We can't let that slide because the guy is hot. Right? Next thing, I'm not telling you to give less attractive guys a chance. Right? But maybe don't judge men for not wanting to make this performative effort. Right? So again, these are complex ideas. I'm not saying you should go out with every nice guy who follows the playbook. And at the same time, maybe understand why guys, right, especially guys who can get a date like this, are a little down on courtship. Because we've already proven that courtship doesn't make a difference in where he gets with you, how far he gets with you, whether you're attracted to him. Courtship isn't actually the differentiator. And guys have figured it out, so they put in less effort, right? Because they've recognized it doesn't produce the same kind of results. And then finally, number 3, understand that if attraction is not a choice, and for the most part it's not, then if we flip this whole model around, just like the nice guy who's doing the courtship and doesn't get anywhere, you could do everything right? Follow every tip you've ever seen on YouTube, join my Love You course, and it doesn't mean that every single guy is going to fall for you. And that's okay. And that's the important part, is understanding it's okay. Your job is to do the best that you can. Right? But if you do the best you can, it's not going to make every single person in the world attracted to you any more than it made every single woman in the world attracted to me. Right? I know where I stand in the looks scale. Right? And I got pretty good at dating when I was single, but it wasn't going to mean everybody was going to be interested in me just because I knew how to differentiate myself from other guys. So remember, you could follow the rules, right? But there's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of people disappoint, a lot of people are not worthy, a lot of people are not ready, a lot of people are not worth the effort, a lot of people are cute but don't have much kindness or consistency. And you don't need every guy, you need one guy. You need one guy that you're attracted to, who's attracted to you as well, and does the right things organically. And I need you to hold out until you find him instead of lowering your standards when a guy is hot. So, have you ever noticed that men don't make a great effort to treat you well, especially on the apps? Did you ever consider that there was something that you could do differently to get them to try harder? Comment below, and remember, this is exactly what I teach in Love You: how to weed out the good guys from the lazy guys and to raise your standards for what you should come to expect from men. And if you raise your standards up here and 90% of guys fall short, now your dating pool consists of only the top 10% of men. That's where you want to be. My name is Marc Katz. Thank you for tuning into the Love You podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click on the subscribe button, ring the bell, choose all to ensure you get notified when new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple. More reviews equals more awareness of the Love You podcast and more love in the world. And if you want to find love right now and you're committed to making healthier relationship choices so you could have an easy partnership where you feel safe, heard, and understood, look for the link below and apply for coaching with me inside Love You. I'll talk to you soon.